the Appalachian Mountain where the rippling river flows. Was a dark, mysterious settler, hunter was a trade he chose. He answered to no Indian tribe, nor the English crown, only to the sky above and his bedroom ground. Black rifle, no braver man was found. But people say until this day, John still walks around. He built a mountain cabin, had children and a wife. He would hunt and fish each day, he had a perfect life. He returned one day, what a tragedy he found, where they burned his mountain cabin.
Hi, welcome to Wild Juniata. My name is Matthias and today we're going to talk about 550 cord. 550 cord is very strong, very durable and has multiple uses. You can use it at the campsite, you can use it for repairing gear, lashing tools, and basically the list goes on and on and on. But I want to talk about one particular use today, which is the use of fishing line. If you take 550 cord and cut it a little bit so the white strings become visible, you can grab them, get them out and use them as fishing line, but also they are very strong and durable and can be used for multiple purposes.
Anytime you're on a camping trip, hiking trip, whatever, out in the woods, you want to have 550 cord or some sort of rope with you. But in the event you forget to pack any or you lose your backpack, you can make natural cordage. Now it's not going to be as strong as 550 cord, but you know, it's kind of fun to make, and it'll do the job for most of what you're trying to do. An example right here, this is dogbane. It's a plant, usually grows in kind of waste areas. You can see it looks a lot like rope. And generally there's a lot of different trees and grasses and things, you know, generally plants that you can make cordage out of. I have a couple examples here. Obviously you would make these longer. You can splice together whenever I show the demonstration. I'll show you how to do that. But this is from a locust tree. In various trees, generally trees will have a stronger strength than what cordage made out of a plant will have for the most part. This is out of a cattail. If you're down along the water, you'll find a lot of cattail and you can make cordage out of that. Among the more stronger plants, these have been introduced to the Northeast, but you'll find them if you're out west in the desert on your remote field course. That's the yucca plant. It's very, very strong cordage. Also on the East Coast, there's the yellow poplar tree. And with cordage you can make various thicknesses. You can see I've got various sizes here. Obviously the thicker is going to be stronger depending on what type of job you're wanting to do. I would use it thicker for maybe lashing together my shelter. And this yellow poplar bark is also really good for making a tinder bundle. If you're down in the jungle, down in the Florida Keys, you come across a coconut palm tree. The burlappy material that they have is excellent for making cordage out of. It's pretty strong. There's a lot of it. And then also on the East Coast and elsewhere across the country and the world, wherever pine tree is, the roots of that, it's really good, really strong for making cordage.
Cordage is very important in survival situations. You can use it to tether things down, tie things up, and you can make it out of multiple things. Right here we're going to show you how to make it out of tree bark. We have 3 different types of tree bark here. We got white oak, maple, and yellow poplar. And what your cordage is mostly made out of is the inner bark of the tree. This is your outer bark. The pieces are dead, dried up. Here's your inner bark. You can see the filaments going through it. And when you're preparing to make cordage, it's good to soak your bark in water. When you soak it in water, it'll separate. Like pieces of it will separate, and it's easier to pull off. Now when you're peeling it out, you got to make sure you're getting a long enough piece to peel out to make a cordage. and you got to keep the filaments together. If you break cross filaments, your cordage isn't going to work out. It's just going to separate. So here I'm going to peel off a couple pieces for you. Isn't a problem to get them extra wide because you can always break them in half. If it's too dry, it'll separate and fall apart. So try to get it sort of moist. You might have to make multiple attempts on it, but just keep trying at it. Here's a piece that looks fine. And what you want to do is try to separate the outer bark from the inner bark. If you can see the outer bark on it right here, it's nice and dry. It'll flake off. And just try to get the inner bark in there. And you can work from there. A lot of times it helps to roll it up, flake it off. That's also a way you can make a tinder bundle. If you grab a piece like that and start flaking it off, you knock the dead stuff off of it, and you can use that to start a fire.
Hi, my name's Jesse Patton, and I'm here to tell you about sinew. This here is a small sample of sinew. It is the strongest naturally occurring material you can use to make cordage. It comes from the connective tissue on the back of an animal. It can, the longer the piece you get, the better. It has more uses that way, but even if it's small, you can still break it off into small threads and tie them together using a reverse wrap. You can use it to sew clothes together. You can use it to make fishing line. You can use it for pretty much anything you can use normal cordage for. In ancient times, Native Americans would even use it to make bowstrings. That's how strong this material is. And again, if you need to make it longer, all you do is reverse wrap and just keep going until you have the size of cordage you need.
There are several different methods to make natural cordage. Some of the more common ones are braiding or rolling along your thigh. Those are just kind of quick methods if the cordage doesn't really need to be that strong. But one of the ways to make it the most strong is what's called reverse wrap method. It takes a little bit longer, but it's basically like an actual piece of rope. So I'm right-handed. I'm going to show from a right-handed perspective. If you're left-handed, you would just, switch the other side there. Basically what you want to do is I've got my cordage separated out, and a lot of this is going to depend on how thick the cordage is that you're wanting to make for what type of job, what have you. So this is just kind of a medium sized. It's made of the yellow poplar bark. I'm going to roll it over like this. I'm going to take that end. I'm going to put it in between my thumb and my fingertip. Kind of separate them out. Again, there's a wide variety of different kinds of plants and tree bark that you can use, but you want it real kind of loose, kind of stringy, because if it's too coarse or too flat or whatever, it's too hard to twist, because you're really going to need that twist. So this is pretty loose now. So to start out, I don't want to start way out here. You only want to start maybe 1/4 of an inch or so. So with my right hand, I'm just going to start twisting. Depending on the type of material, it may only be a few twists, or it may be a lot of twists. So with tree bark, it's usually just a few twists to get it to where it's tight. Okay, you don't want it so tight that it doubles over on itself like this. So you want to get that twist, see how it's tight, and I'm going to hold that tension. Now, with my middle finger, I'm going to reach down, I'm going to hook, and I'm going to turn like that. I'm still keeping tension. I might have to adjust my left hand a little bit to accompany that twist. Then I'm going to let go, grab the other piece. Same thing, twist, twist, away, twist, twist till I feel that tension. Same thing, reach, middle finger, hook, and turn. And then just slide my left hand a little bit forward just to hold that tension. Twist, twist. Now this reverse wrap what it does is you twist it the one way and the other one is twisted the other way to where they're turning against each other, and that's what holds that tension. That's what holds them in place like a piece of rope. Hook, turn, slide forward. Again, it's just twist. Okay, see how I may have to adjust my hands a little bit depending on the tension. Twist, twist, hook, and turn. And slide forward like that. Now, depending on how much you practice, you can go at decent speed depending on the type of material. You can see this doesn't take too long to twist to get that tension. Now eventually you're going to come to the point where you run out of material, and sometimes you just have a little bit of material, sometimes you have longer strips like here, but for demonstration's sake we just got a couple of inches of cordage right here, so it's not a whole lot you can do with that. So you can do what's called splicing, and this will work even sometimes using dried material like this. It'll split and break. Sometimes that happens just on tree bark because if there's a tree branch that's been through part of the area that you've used, it'll have it where it'll tear off. So it's no big deal. So to splice it, you just get your other section here, and you can see where I've been doing the reverse wrap. I'll just go ahead and do about an inch or two. Just kind of overlay that on the short piece that you want to splice into, and then same thing, just going to take my fingers and hold that tension there. Just start twist, twist, same thing, hook and turn. Slide forward with my left hand to hold that tension. Twist, twist, hook, turn, twist, hook, turn. Depending on the thickness of this, again, and the type of material that you're using, sometimes it takes a couple twists, sometimes just one to get that tension.